A muddy, scruffy little dog just jumped up on me. He just loves to be where I am too. So, kids, anybody else is watching, I've had some comments in the past. Am I a cowboy? Well, per se, what is a cowboy? I love horses, always loved horses. I've half broken them before. We in high school we corralled one. It was a wild Mustang out in the desert. And once we got him, what are you going to do with a wild Mustang? You got to have a trailer. Oh, I would have loved to get that guy in the trailer and take him home with me, but I was only 16, and it wouldn't have worked out. From there, my Aunt Nancy, who had a horse, she was living up in Dewey, Arizona, just down from Prescott, and she couldn't take care of Mia for a while, so actually a few years. So she brought it down to our house, and it's the same place I have as I did that, an acre of land. So she put up a whole fence, 3/4 of a fence, and put me inside. We had a shed over for her, and my Aunt Nancy would come in with a trainer every week. She'd come down from Dewey, and the trainer would tell her how to ride Mia. As a matter of fact, every time Aunt Nancy got on Mia, Mia went up, yeah, up in the air. And Aunt Nancy was, she was wondering why is this happening? And the trainer said, she's a frisky quarter horse. Come here. I got another guy coming in. This guy here. That's my Lightning. He's another good boy. So Aunt Nancy was always on a saddle, and whenever she got on Mia, she rode her around the yard, Now, when my aunt was gone, I used to take Mia over to Papago Buttes, it was called. Hey, Ari Scott. Hey, good boy. And Cameron Brusher. Hey, hi. And Pumba the pig. Hey, Pumba the pig. You said hi too. Hey guys. So as I'm saying with the story, I was basically taking care of Mia, and what the story is trying to get across, I have a moral on all my true stories. This one is that no matter what animal it is, whether it's a dog, I guess cats, sharks, snakes, horses, any animal can tell when you're afraid. Why is that? Because they can pick up body temperature. And as I mentioned before, snakes know 150 feet away when you are coming. And that's when their little tongue goes out and they're picking up your heat signature. So when you have fear, your body temperature goes up. So that tells basically all animals you're probably going to hurt them. Although I've had dogs, and I know dogs that can't wait for someone to give them fear. It's like ringing a dinner bell. You give a dog fear, they can't wait to get you, or make you run, or maybe they just want to play. So here, it's foolish for me to say this, but I didn't have my boots on. All I had, it was summertime. Actually, it's summertime right now, and it's about 7-ish o'clock, and it's 109 degrees in Arizona. That's why I'm kind of doing this a little later. Maybe I thought it would cool down. It's still 109. Well, it's cooler than last week. So what I was feeding Mia a carrot. And who shows up? Well, my Aunt Nancy, but she's not alone. So as they open the gate and they drive by, this she has some friends from New York, and this lady with a really weird hat. She had plaid and stripes. It's not a good combination. And the worst combination is when you have an individual like this rolling the window down, sticking her head out the window, and going and saying, "Oh, I am deathly afraid of horses." When she said that, Mia's eyes opened up like saucers, and she could feel some negativity. So what does Mia do? Now I'm saying I didn't have my boots on, I was barefoot. Hey, come on, boy. And so her right hoof went right down on my foot, and it was not the big toe, it was the second toe. Snapped it like a twig. It just went. And I looked at her, she looked at me. Her hoof was still on my foot. What are you going to do? Well, you can't yell and scream. Just gotta, all I had was her hat on a hackamore to lead her. So I said, "Come on, girl." And she took her hoof off my foot. Well, something went through me that I had not felt before in a long time. I couldn't beat her. I couldn't hit her. My Aunt Nancy's getting out of the car now saying, "How am I doing?" "Oh, I'm doing fine, Aunt Nancy. I'm going to take Mia for a little run here." So I hopped. All I had was my shorts on. Mia is bareback. And I jumped on her back, and we took out the gate. And next door was 2 acres of land at the time. And it had barbed wire all around it, except coming up through the street. You can get up to the street, no barbed wire. Everything else was X'd off with barbed wire. So I'm riding her with just the hackamore, bareback, and I'm kicking her sides. And I'm saying, "Let's go!" And this is a quarter horse that can't wait to go. We did about 10 or 11, maybe 12 circles, and each time we got closer to the barbed wire. But she was listening to me on the reins, doing quite well. And when I came back into the property, my Aunt Nancy said, "That is the most amazing riding I've ever seen in my life. You were bareback." I said, "Yeah." She says, "You're not supposed to do that." I said, "Oh, really?" So I jumped off, and she says, "Well, why did," and Mia's in a lather, so I had to go with the brush, start brushing her down. My Aunt Nancy says, "Well, why did you do that?" I said, "Well, when your friend screamed out she's deathly afraid of horses, that's when Mia broke my second toe like a twig." She says, "Oh, really?" And then my Aunt Nancy says, "Did you not know that horses can't see barbed wire?" I said, "No, I didn't know that." And it wasn't more than like a couple weeks later, a buddy of mine, Jerry, had heard of the story, and he says, "Oh man, you're crazy." And then he showed me his leg. He got thrown into some barbed wire. He was on a horse, and it wasn't listening, and it threw him into the barbed wire. So that's what I wanted to get across to anybody out there on a horse, first time, whatever. If you come across barbed wire, you want to stay clear of it, because horses cannot see barbed wire. That's right. Other than that, there was that other little story. It was when we were up in Sedona, and it was up by Loop Crossing. Anybody know where Loop Crossing is up in Sedona? They actually charge you to get up there now. We used to camp there and everything else for free. But where Loop Crossing is, off to the left was a pasture. So me and Tom, my cousin Tom, he's my cousin Jim's older brother. We jumped over the barbed wire fence, and there were some horses. And I think I had some celery or something, and one of the horses came over, and I'm feeding him. He's chewing on the celery. And I figured, hey, what the heck? So I couldn't really, he was a big horse. I couldn't just jump up. He was bareback. I couldn't just jump up to him. So I led him over to a tree, and I climbed up the tree. And from the tree, I jumped off on his back. And I was doing fine. I was holding on to his mane. We were ready to go for a ride. But what does my cousin Tom do? He did something very negative. He took his hand and he went, yeah, on the back of the horse. Rears up. I'm still holding on to the mane. And then we take off into the pasture. I held on and it was a great ride. I'm just saying, it seems like I have these experiences on a bareback of a horse. But I've been on the saddle too. I just wanted to get that across as far as cowboys go. I've never shoot a horse. I've always admired them. Never had fear, and that was also I was trying to get across. No matter what animal you come across, be neutral. Stop the fear, and if you can, you start putting out love, and that animal will be your friend. That's all I can say right now. For 109 at this point, it is getting, I'm losing apps again. I got to put this thing in a freezer or something so I can talk longer maybe. But that's all I wanted to say. Who's a cowboy? And that's what the thumbnail is today. Who's a cowboy? Any of you cowboys out there, leave me a comment. And anybody else that's watching, thumbs up or down. Comment would be nice. Anything else, I'd be grateful for. Till then, see you soon. God victory.